Hello everyone. Welcome to our 12 days 12 use case webinar series. In today's webinar, we will be creating mobile application for one of the popular news website, Global News. We will be using Global News to demonstrate that how you can use Twinr to convert any news website into mobile apps. So if you have a news website and using any website technology such as WordPress, WooCommerce, Shopify or Wix, then you can use Twinr to create mobile applications for it. So now let's start creating mobile applications for global news website. So first step here is to create an application. So let's do that. Create an app, and global news is a news website. So I'm going to go with the news template here. Application name will be global news website. So I have the website here as well. Okay. Website platform. Let me select Angular for now. And then we have two new options here, which is remove header and footer. So these two new options are part of Twinr automation engine. So from Twinr 2.0 launch, we are also introducing Twinr automation engine, which will do a lot of manual work automatically for you now, which includes removing header and footer as well. So let's understand what the remove header and footer means. Okay, so as you all know that we are providing remove elements in Twinr, right? That's one of the most popular feature that we are providing, where you can customize your website and you can remove some of the unwanted elements from the mobile application. And most unwanted elements, if when we talk about the mobile application, then it's header and footer. So for example, if I make it responsive, then we have this header here. Right now, obviously in the mobile application, I'm going to use a native element for this one rather than using the one from the website, right? So we can remove this header and this top header as well, right? And then also the footer as well. So for example, whatever footer we have in the website here, we don't really, want to use it in the mobile application, because this is purely for the website purpose. We don't really need it in the mobile app, right? So until now you had to do it manually, but now onwards, Twinr automation engine will do it automatically for you. Okay, so if you will keep this switches enabled, right, then Twinr automation engine will automatically find out header and footer element for you, and it will automatically remove that. So in our situation, if I will look at here, then this is our header element, right? So Twinr automation engine will automatically remove this one, and similarly footer as well. So let's keep it enabled and then go next. Okay, so now because we are providing a Twinr automation engine here, right, so it will automatically find out few important URLs for us. So as we can see that under the top news is it's currently using the similar URL, which we can update again, right? For the live TV screen, it also found out the live screen URL for us, and for video screen, it's also found out video URL for us automatically. So that's also one of the feature of the Twinr automation engine, that whatever the important screen for your application is, it will automatically find out URL for you. Now you have a complete flexibility that, for example, this URL is not correct, right? So we can obviously update it. So let me go here and I will update it with this top trending URL. Okay, so now home screen is fine, top news screen is fine, live TV screen is fine as well. Let me see, national is the perfect one that I think so, yeah. And then the videos you are good. So now let's build an application. Okay, so our application is being created here. Here we can see a global news, right? So there are three different buttons. The first one is obviously to go inside the application dashboard, where we will be doing a lot of application customizations and some other work. Second option here is a preview application. So preview application means that when you are working on your application, right, you want to see that how your application looks like in a real device. So that's what the purpose of the preview application is, that when you are doing some changes in the portal here, right, you will be able to see all those changes live in your real device. So if you have an Android device, then I would highly recommend installing this application for the preview purpose. Okay, now if you don't have an Android device, then don't worry about it, because we do have a simulated previews inside the portal itself. So I'll explain about it later on once we'll get to that point. And now the third option is delete application, which is self-explanatory, so I'm not going into that much detail for now. Okay, so let's go inside the application dashboard and start working on our application now. So here we have a setup guide which says 4 steps to go step by step process. Preview application, we've already discussed about this. Branding, app theme and customize screen. So we'll be following this process here step by step. Now next option here is live chat. So anytime if you have any confusion or any concerns and you want to connect with us, you can always use this live chat option to connect with us. And then we have a step-by-step video tutorial as well on our YouTube channel. So you can just go through this video tutorial series and it will give you a complete highlight that what should be the step-by-step process to create your application. All those videos will be give you the information step by step. Okay. So now let's go to branding here. And the first thing we need to set up here is application name, which is already there. So I don't want to change anything in there. And whatever application name is, it will look like this when user will install an application. These two informations are required when we are ready to publish our application on Play Store and App Store accounts, right? So let's keep this information for now. So our application info section is all up to date. Let's go to application icon. So whatever icon you will upload here, right, it will become your app icon, and then when user will install it, it will look like this. Okay, so let me update the application icon here, and here I have an application icon for the global news. Okay, all good. And let's go to the launch screen now. So launch screen means when user will open an application, every time they will be able to see the launch screen first, right? And then they will be able to see the content of the application. Now this is standard of the Android and iOS application. So we can use the launch screen for either a marketing purpose or a branding purpose, but usually I have seen people to use it for a branding purpose, you know. So let's update the launch screen as well, which is this one, and update this one. Okay, so you see like launch screen will look like this in a full screen, and you will be able to preview it in the preview app as well. Okay, now next section is really very important, which is app permissions. So this is introduced new in Twinr 2.0. Until now we weren't providing to update or customize your application permission text, but now we are. Okay, so what application permission means? So for example, in your application you have a profile section where user can update their profile picture, right? So in the website, in the browser, they can update their profile picture by selecting a photo from the local directory from laptop or desktop or something like that, right? But that's not the situation in mobile application. So that means in mobile application, they can use either camera or photo library to select their photo, right? But when we are asking, when user want to use this camera or photo library, right, they will need to provide a permission first. Okay, and that's what the application permission means, that when user will try to access the camera, we will need to provide them a context that why basically you will need to provide us a camera permission, and that's what the permission means. So let's go inside the permission here and see we have two different messages here. The first message will be displayed when we are asking the permission for the first time. Okay, so when user will be trying to access the camera, and immediately we will ask for the permission, and at that point this message will be displayed with the permission dialog. Now user will read this message and decide that they want to provide a permission or not, which is most likely that they will provide, because obviously they are trying to update their profile picture, and for that they are trying to access the camera, so they will. But still, this message should be really perfect, because if you will not provide this message properly, then Apple might reject your application as well, saying that for whatever purpose for whatever message you have written here, right, it doesn't really align with the feature that you are trying to use for. Okay, so if you are trying to use camera for the profile picture update, basically, right, I mean in your application, if camera is being used for profile picture or some other things, then you need to mention both the things here, that to update your profile picture or to create a image post or something like that, you know, right? So this is really important. Now in any situation, if user have denied the permission, for example, right, so in that situation we will not be able to ask that permission again. So for example, if user will try to access camera again, but now because they have denied the permission before, they will not be able to access it anymore. So what could be the fallback situation here where we can again allow them to enable the camera permission? I mean basically we want to make them easy for you, right? Easy for the users to understand that you had denied the permission and now you can enable it like this. Okay, so that's where the permission rational message comes into a picture. So whenever user has denied the permission and next time they will try to access the camera again, permission rational message will be displayed there. That because you had denied the permission before, and now if you want to enable the permission again, you need to go to the settings screen. Okay, so now this is your another chance where you are explaining the purpose of this permission to your users, right? And then convincing them to enable this permission again. So now whenever this permission rational message will be displayed, there will be two different buttons there. One is cancel and the second one is settings button. So when user will click on the settings button, it will directly bring them to the application settings screen in their mobile. And from there, they will be able to enable the camera permission. So that's what the permission rational message means, right? So let me enable this permission for this application. Similarly, photo library as well. Microphone doesn't really require, so I'm gonna skip that. App tracking transparency, again, really very important permission, because for example, if your application falls under GDPR compliance, then this permission becomes necessity for you. It's must for you, because if you will not enable it, then Apple is going to reject your application. So best example is that if you are asking for a cookie policy inside your application, right? Because if you have that pop-up in the website, it's gonna display it in the mobile application as well. So in that situation, you must enable this permission. If you will not enable this permission, then Apple will reject it. So that's one use case for app tracking transparency permission. Second use case is that if you want to track your users basically, right, that what kind of activity they are doing inside the application and for your analytics purpose, then also you should enable this permission and ask the permission from your users. And third use case is that, for example, if you are planning to integrate Google AdMob inside or advertisement inside your application, right, then also app tracking transparency permission is required. And this permission is only for iOS. So for Android devices or Android application, it doesn't really matter here. So let's go next, and location, which is again not required for this application. So I'm gonna skip that. And as you can see that each and every permission, so if I'll enable this, let me save it as a draft. Each and every permission has message and the permission rational message. Okay. So now let's go to our next section, which is application theme. So before doing anything in or customizing anything in application theme, let's first see that how our application looks like. Okay, and to do that, what I'll do, let me open my preview application here, which is this one. And you can see our global news application is here. So let me open that. Okay, so because we had created 4 different screens, right? So as you can see that we have 4 different screens here. Okay. So all those 4 different screens is being already created for us with all the icons and everything. So it's being pretty easy for us now. If we go below the screen, at the end of the screen, then we don't see the footer anymore, because the footer is being removed by Twinr automation engine. At the same time, as you can see here, we have this part, but we don't have that header part. So if we go to website again, so you see this black bar is not in the application anymore, because it's being removed already and taken care by the Twinr automation engine. Okay, so we have this 4 screens here. Right now, obviously we need to update it based on our requirement, right? Based on whatever the color theme and everything. So let's do that theming options first. So app theme means whatever theme you have on your website, right? Obviously you want to utilize similar theme in the mobile application as well, because that way you will be able to have a proper branding between your web page and between your mobile application, right? So let's do that. First of all, what I want to do is to update our navigation bar background color, because here in their website I can see that kind of they are using a black color. Okay, so let's do that. And I have their background color here, which is this one. Sorry, navigation bar background, which is this one, and save it as a draft. Now because this is a black color, let me update this to white color and save it as a draft. Now let's go to our app again and see here. So as you can see, our top bar is of a black color and text is of a white color now. Okay, Perfect. So similarly for the tab bar as well, I think for the looks like tab bar is good actually for now. Maybe we can update this to the black background color to black and selected color to white, and then unselected color, let me update it to little bit more gray, which is this one, and let me reload this as well. So now both tab bar and bottom bar, so this is our okay, so this is our header part, right, and this is our bottom bar. Both of them are of a black color now, and in the tab bar the selected item is of a white color, but icon is still black, which we're gonna fix in a moment, right? But as you can see, when I select it, it's getting white, and for the unselected it's still gray color here. Okay, so unselected state is good, we just need to fix the selected one, which we're gonna fix soon. Okay, so our header is good here. Okay, so looks like our customization is good here. For all the other settings, if we will need to, we will change it, but for now let's keep it as it is. Okay, so now for the screens here, so we already have 4 screens created, right, and everything is good here, so I don't think so we need to do some changes here. The one thing we need to change, as we discussed before, that we need to change the tab selected icon, because it's currently black and our bottom bar color is also black, so that's not gonna work. So let's update it. Let me go to our general icons, home, and use white color here. Update this and save it as a draft. So let's first take a look that it is perfect now. Oh yeah, it looks good. Okay, so our home screen icon is white again, so that's all good. Now I think under the navigation bar, the title type is image. So let's for the home screen, as we can see here, that in the title they are using a logo here, right? So in the home screen here, we are also using title type as an image. So let's update an image here, which is gonna be most probably this one, the white logo, so we can see that, and save it as a draft, and let's go here again. Okay, that looks perfect. So now on the home screen, under the navigation bar, we have a logo at the top, and for all the other screens we are still using text, so everything is still good. Okay, so now similarly let's update the selected icon for all other screens as well. Okay, so let's go here again and update this. So you see now all of our icons are, let's see, so top news is good when it's in a selected state, live TV is good as well, video is good as well. Okay, so all the icons are good here. One more thing we need to fix here is our back button. So for example, if I go to any of the news here inside, okay, if I'll do open any of the news, so you see there is a back button here, which is also of a black color right now. So we need to fix that as well. So to fix it, what we need to do, inside each and every screen, okay, we have a navigation bar, and inside the navigation bar we have navigation bar buttons. So these buttons are native buttons. So in Twinr we automatically provide this back button functionality, because whenever there will be any kind of activities, like whenever user will do any kind of navigation inside the application, the back button will get enabled automatically. Now let me click on this, and if we go back to the previous screen, then you can see the back button got disabled, because now there is no go back, right? So it's gonna be handled automatically by Twinr. Okay, so let me update the icon for this one as well, at the same time the color as well. Update this and then save it as a draft, and we need to do it for all the 4 screens. So let me do that. We are done for the top news as well. Save it as a draft. So whenever you do the save it as a draft, right, basically that means you will be able to preview it inside the preview application. Okay, so now let's go back to our application, reload this, and then let's open one of the news here, and as we can see the back button is of white color now, so it looks really good. Okay, so back button is good, we fixed that as well. Okay, now let's go to their website again and see and compare with our application. So first of all, we have 4 tabs here, so we don't really need this one at the top, right? So let's remove that. So now usually in the process of application building, what I do, like first thing we did a branding, second thing we did app theme, right? The next thing we usually do is to fix our application screen icons and everything. And now the next part is to removing unwanted elements, right? So header footer is already being taken care. So now let's remove some extra unwanted elements that we want to remove here. And one of them is obviously this tab bar, because I don't really want to use it inside the mobile application. So we'll click on this little arrow icon here and select this element. And as we can see that this element is part of this one, this section, or this navigation div class, nav wrapper. So let's copy this, right? And go to our portal. Now, because we want to remove it from all the screens, so what we're gonna do, we go to general settings, and under the remove elements, as you can see, header and footer elements are already being added, and this is being added by our Twinr automation engine. So let's add another element, which is this one. Now, because we are using a class here, right? So we need to append dot at the start, and again save it as a draft. So let's reload this, and as you can see that we don't see that element here anymore at the top of the screen. It's gone. Okay, so that all good, that is being taken care of. So I don't think really we need to remove any other element here except this one, because all the other elements are basically a news element, so we don't want to remove that. So everything else is good. Let's visit our other screens as well, because let's verify that all of them are also good. So yeah, so everything looks good here. For the video as well, I think if we go to the video mode, then everything will work out of the box. So you don't need any extra integrations, or you don't need to do anything extra for that. Everything will be taken care by Twinr. Okay, so in this news application, okay, one thing I find very useful is obviously, first of all, to share news with someone else. So for example, if any of the news I want to share it with someone, then how can I do that, right? So to do that, I think the first thing we need to do is we are providing a native link sharing button. So let's add that button. So to add a button in the navigation bar, now if I look at my application here, then I want to add that button on the home screen, because on the home screen I have a lot of news here, right? So I want to enable it on the home screen. So let's do that first. Go to home screen, navigation bar. Now we already have a back button on the left side, right? We have a logo in the middle. So what I will do, I will enable this button. I will add this button on the right hand side. So let me add this button on the right side, native link sharing button. And you don't need to do anything here. You just need to select your icon. All the other functionalities are already being there. Sharing icon and white color, because our background is black color. Add this icon and save again. Okay, so let's reload this. So you see on the right hand side, now we see the native link sharing button. Okay, so what I want to do now, let's go to any of the news here, for example this one, right? And then let me click on this button. So you see now I can share this news URL with anyone I want. Basically it gives me all the URLs here, all the application listing here and the shortcuts here that I can share this news with, or I can copy the URL as well, right? So you can utilize this functionality and this button to make your users basically easy to share with their friends, family, or whomever they want to share with, right? Okay, so let's do one more thing. Top news is also one of the important screen for the news, right? I mean, all of them are very important, obviously, right? But so we can add this button to all of them, but for now, let me add these two, only top news, one more screen. Share icon and then white color, and save it as a draft. And let's go back again here and reload this. So you see, we go to top news again, and then the button is already there. Okay, that looks good then. So we did add the button as well. One more thing I think we are missing here is about this search box, right? So we have this search box. So when I click on it, it basically inside this navigation bar looks like. So let me see that. Let's see again that when we click on this, yeah, it's in. So basically this wrapper is inside this one, and it is, I think so, this one, sub menus. Yes, Okay, but right now what we did, we basically did remove this whole element, the div element. So basically we did remove the complete element as a navigation bar. So let's not do that. Instead what we will do, inside this element there are two elements. Okay, the first one is the top bar and the another one is the sub menu, which is being used by this search button, which we don't want to remove, which we want to use it, right? So first of all, what I want to fix here, that instead of removing this nav wrapper using this class for removing the header, I will be using this div element specifically, whatever element we have here. Okay, so let's go to our portal, general settings, and under the remove elements, I'm going to use this for removing a top bar. So it's not going to change anything for us right now. So everything is gonna be still similar, as you can see. We still don't see that top bar at, bar at the top, right? So it's still good. Now what I want to do, that we have this header, we have this search button in the header, but we did remove the header, right? But what I want to do, inside the mobile application, I want to use the similar button and the similar functionality, search functionality. So now we can do that using our tag selector button. Okay, so tag selector button means that when we click on that native button from the mobile side, from the application side, right, behind the scene it's gonna generate a click on this button, okay, which is not visible to the user directly in the mobile app. So user don't see that button directly in the web page here basically, but using our native button, okay, we will be mimicking and we will be basically telling them that when I click on this button, you need to do the similar work that this search button is doing right now. Okay, so to do that we can use tag selector button. Now tag selector button means, first of all we need to find out the element of this identifier, that what is the element of this identifier, which is, I think so, this button, search button, right? And the element is L header search button. So let's copy this identifier, go to our home screen, and under the navigation bar, let's add that button on the right hand side as a tag selector button. And we need to add our selector here. So this is our selector, right? So basically when we click on the native button, behind the scene, we want to generate a click on this search element, this search button, right? So, okay, now selector, now because this is a class, so we will add dot at the start and then the button icon. So let me find out the search icon and change it to white color and add this and save it as a draft again. Okay, so now let's go back and reload this. So we have two icons here, right? So what I want to do, I want to click on this search icon, and then after once I'll click on the search icon, it's gonna open the search as it is, as you can see that, right? So you see that that's how basically we can mimic the exact behavior. So basically what you did remove the element from the web page, right? You don't want to display it in the mobile application, but at the same time you don't want to lose your functionality as well. Okay, so that's why, as I said before, that all the customization features are really useful and you should use it, and in your applications as well you should use it, because whenever you will submit your application to App Store and Play Store, they're gonna review it, right? Now if you are not doing any kind of customization, then it's highly possible that they will reject your application, saying that you are not doing anything different than, like user can visit this website in their mobile browser as well. What is the different thing here? Nothing, right? So if you will not do the customization, then they will give you a reason like that. So because of that, we should always do some kind of customization in our application. And at the same time, we also want to provide a native application feeling to our users. Obviously, we are providing a lot of native elements, so why don't you utilize that? Okay, so that's all good. We have customized our screens properly. We did remove some of the elements, right? We added native buttons, we changed the color, we changed the icon, selected and unselected buttons and icons and everything. And I think that's pretty much it for the settings, for setting up our screens. So everything looks good here. Now let's add some extra native components and native extensions to our application. And so to do that, I'll go to add-ons menu here, and as you can see, under the extensions menu we have 9 different extensions here. So Page loader is pretty simple to understand. When, for example, let me reload the screen. So you see this white loader here. Okay, you can customize that as well if you want. So page loader, and then you have a loader color here. If you go to customizations, then basically it will allow you to change the loader size, and there are 45 plus different loader styles here that you can use from. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it default for now. Pull to refresh. So let's understand what is pull to refresh means. Basically, when I drag down the screen here, so you see this refresher, and when I release the screen, it's gonna reload the screen again. Okay, so you can change the color of that refresher as well using basically this extension. So I'm gonna keep it as it is again, not going to change anything. Then after custom user agent, so basically custom user agent means you will get some device information inside the request header. So technically, if you want to utilize that information for any of the purpose, for analytics purpose or anything, right? Or if you want to add some extra information to identify that request is coming from the mobile application and something like that, right? So you can provide your custom user agent string here as well, if you prefer that. Okay, so I'm not going to change anything in that. Custom font. So in the custom font, basically these elements are native elements, right? So it is currently using the default font style, but obviously you want to match those font style with whatever you are using, the font style you are using with in your website. So to do that, global news is using Roboto. So let me update it to Roboto here and save it as a draft, and then let's reload this. So you see now my font has been changed to Roboto. All the native fonts are changed to Roboto now. Okay, all of these titles and everything is being changed to Roboto font style, and it's gonna follow the bold, regular, all the styles automatically for you. So you don't need to worry about it basically, right? Okay, so we did change the font as well. Then after, there is a no internet view, which is like when there will be no internet inside the user's mobile, it's gonna display the no internet screen like this. So which is again a useful feature that we can utilize. So let me enable this as well, right? App review. So more reviews you have on your application, right, the more users you can attract based on those reviews, and more trust factor you can generate for your users, for your visitors basically, right? So for example, if I am searching for a good news application in in Play Store and App Store, right, then obviously what I'll be looking for some good reviews as well, that which application has a good review, right? So based on that, I will decide that which application I want to install in my mobile, right? So app review will make that process easy for you basically. So whenever you enable this extension, okay, it will ask for the application review inside the application itself from your users. So user will be able to submit the review from the application itself, and then it makes the process easy for them to submit a review. At the same time, you have a flexibility that you can ask reviews from your users, right? Okay, so let's see. So app review, so you just need to enable this feature, and then you need to provide a schedule here. So what does the schedule mean? So it says that enter app open counts. So for example, if user will how many times user opens your application, and then you want to ask for the review. Okay, so for example, if I will enter 5 here, that means once user will open your application for 5 times, right, then it will automatically ask for the review. So user open application, close it, open it, close it, open it, close it, do it 5 times, right, and then it will ask for the review. Now you can provide your whole schedule here, that okay, so for example, 5th time they opened their application and we did ask for the review, Twinr automatically handled all those counts and everything. So now basically inside the application we prompt for the review to the user, but this time user is still not convinced to provide a review, so they might cancel it, right? So now when next time we want to ask it again, so maybe like after 10th time, so again they will open the application for another 5 times. So first they open it for 5 times, right? Now again they open it for another 5 times, which becomes 10 times. Then we will again ask for the review. Okay, so that's what the app review schedule means, that basically you need to provide a schedule based on the application open counts. Okay, Now we should also consider here that if your application is being used a lot of time, like news application is being used every day, right? So you don't want to ask reviews too frequently as well, right? So in that situation, for example, for this kind of application, I would go for like 5, 20, and then 50, and then maybe 70 or 100, whatever basically your schedule you want to follow based on your application. You can just do that and then just save it as a draft, and that's it. A preview is enabled now, and then Twinr will handle everything for you. Okay, so we did a preview as well. App onboarding is really important feature. I'm not going to all these details, otherwise it's gonna take a lot of time in this webinar, right? Multi-language as well. So we are providing multi-language with 136 languages and with auto translation. So you can use this feature as well if you want to provide if you want to support multi-language feature inside your application. In-app purchase, which is not really useful for this kind of application, so I'm going to skip that for now, but we do provide in-app purchase support for both Android and iOS devices. Okay, so now let's go to our integrations, and inside the integrations, the first section is push notification. So push notification is obviously really important for this application, right? Because now generalized push notification is really important, but personalized is not that much really important because it's a news app. So whatever the news is, I want to send that notification to all the users, not any particular user, right? So using generalized notification, maybe I don't want to send it to all the users, but at least a segmented user, right? So we do provide a Firebase integration for our generalized push notification, and using Firebase, basically you can segment your users as well. That okay, you want to send notification to only Canadian users, only American users, right? Only Indian users, like that. So you can segment your users based on that as well, or maybe only Android devices, or only iOS devices, or maybe only age 25 plus users. So you can do those segmentation as well, right? So if you want to enable the Firebase push notification, then it's pretty simple. You just go through this enable push notification video, which is I think of 5 or 7 minutes maximum, right? And then it will give you an information that how you can generate these two files. So you just upload these two files, which I already have here. So let me upload this JSON file, and that's it. You are done here. Your push notification setup is done. So now next time when you will request a build for your application, it will be with the push notification enabled. Now the next step is obviously to send push notification. So we have a video for that as well, that how you can send push notification using Firebase console. So just go through this video. I think it's 3 to 4 minutes of video, and it will give you a complete highlight that how you can send push notification. You can schedule notifications as well. You can create actionable notifications as well, where user will click on the notification and it will bring them to any particular URL or particular screen inside the application, right? So it's completely flexible. So I would highly recommend using this feature. Okay, so personalized push notification, it's not really very useful for this application, so I'm gonna skip that for now. Abundant, obviously it's not useful because it's really for e-commerce kind of scenarios. Another one I want to highlight here is Google AdMob. So Google AdMob, right now I see here that the global news website also using, they are currently using this advertisement here in their website, right? So obviously if your website is using advertisement, then mobile application is going to follow that. You don't need a separate integration for that, right? But if your website doesn't have advertisement, but in your mobile, if you want to set it up, right? Or even though your website has an advertisement, but for mobile application you want to set it separately, like application open advertisement, interstitial advertisement, right? So we do provide native Google AdMob support as well, where you can enable this feature, right? You can set up your advertisement here, and let me tell you that how it will look like. So for example, this is our Google AdMob integration here. Let me go to their one of the documentation, this one. Yeah. So if you enable Google AdMob native feature, right, then your advertisement will be, the banner advertisement will be displayed like this at the bottom of the screen, or we do provide option to display at the top of the screen as well. Okay. So you can do that. The next one is interstitial ad. So we do provide, so interstitial is basically a full screen advertisement, right? So under the interstitial advertisement, we do provide an option where you can, open interstitial ads based on certain events. That in our situation, for example, let's go to our app here. So in our situation, what I want to do that when I click on any of the news here, for example, I want to open an interstitial ad. We can do that as well. You can decide to do that, right? Also, you can decide that okay, whenever user try to open a search screen, right, any particular URL, whenever user try to open any particular screen, so on that particular screen as well, you can decide to open an interstitial ad. So okay, so our integration is completely flexible, and if you will go through this documentation, that step by step process is here, that how you can enable and how you can set up advertisement on our portal. Okay, and another ad is application open ad. So as you can see here, that app open ads is like this, which is obviously your website will not be having this kind of advertisement. So if you want to use this, then you need a native integration for this one. Okay, so we do support application open, banner advertisement and interstitial advertisement inside our Google AdMob integration. So you can utilize this feature as well. Okay. Now I think we did set up everything in terms of application here. We did set up our branding, theming, screens, customizations, buttons and everything, right? Selected, unselected icons and everything. We did enable some of the add-ons as well, extensions and integrations, push notification as well, right? Now next step is obviously to just request a build for our application for Android and iOS and submit it to Play Store and App Store accounts. So that's pretty much it, right? So like within just 42 minutes, we did converted our global news website into mobile application, right? So this way you can convert any news website into mobile apps within just 30 to 45 minutes basically, right? And then, you know, like within 1 hour, your application will be on Play Store and App Store account submitted for review. So that's it for this webinar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, if you guys have any other questions or concerns, you can always reach out to us via our live chat, or you can send us an email on hello@twinr.dev. You can also refer to our help documentation at help.twinr.dev for the detailed information. So thank you again, and thanks for joining us in this webinar.